Life is kind of interesting sometimes. My very first video on this channel was about Noelle and how she resembled Hinata in Naruto. I'll link that in the description of this video. And after chapter 372 and 373, we kind of then submitted that and finally come full circle, and yet we haven't. I'll explain through the course of the video. So let's get to it. What's going on, everybody? This is Yo Anime Legacy and Anime Lounge, and I'm gonna try to keep this video as short as I can, but this is gonna be a rather long one because we got a lot to talk about. Now, normally, because of the way things have gone with Black Clover, I kind of don't talk about it anymore because Black Clover, for at least the last two chapters overall hasn't been that interesting. I mean, we'll see how the Marileona stuff goes. I mean, I'm not invested enough in Morris to care, about what happens to him. He's just a minion, and he's probably going to get squashed by Marileona. We'll have to wait and see on that. But I do think that was a good moment that she got all her people back and they all gave her the energy. And she had them come back as Sun Jin Woo with the Rise type of situation. So I think that was a good story. But that's not what we're here for today. What we here for is Noelle. And as I said in the intro, Noelle is Hinata done correctly, and this arc proves it, because in this arc, Noelle does what Hinata couldn't do in Naruto, and she brings her family back together. See, in Naruto, Hinata had to wait for Naruto to beat Neji. It took Neji and Hinata fighting side by side in the Ninja War and Neji's death for the Hyuga family to get right. In this arc, we get Noelle being the driving force and her overcoming the abuse of her siblings, being the catalyst for the family coming together. And it's, as everybody has said, beautiful. Hey, we started the chapter off, and Noelle and Asier are going at it, and Noelle got some advantages, but she's really not doing too much of anything. She can put up a good fight, but She doesn't have the battle experience. And I like how they're actually taking the two water siblings from the original water arc. If you watch the anime, Kana and her brother, I can't remember their names, the singing ones, the one that can sing, the one that can dance from the temple, and just how all that has become so relevant in the story, and it really does a good job. And I would say Boruto and everybody else who has this problem really needs to look at Noelle's story from that standpoint too, of taking things that were introduced in the anime. I don't read the manga, so I can't say if they were in the manga, but things that were introduced in the anime, and then bringing it into the manga in the right way. I mean, Sumire, God knows they tried, but let's be real. Sumire is just there to be a translator or something now. I mean, she ain't doing nothing in Two Blue Vortex. Seriously. Nothing at all. But I digress. So we get that fight, and we just get, everybody going forward, and, the Solid and Deborah are just basically sitting here getting healed by the little bubble dude from the, from the arc, from the elf arc, after Noelle got her Valkyrie armor for the first time. Again, nice nod there. We actually get to see him. We ain't seen that brother in a while. So good for him for surviving all this. And they're being healed, and they're watching Noelle, still scared to fight mommy, because, like mommy said, they suck. And as we go forward and we see them look at Noelle and how well she's doing against their mother, we see just how much they suck, because as over the course of the battle and their decision to help Noelle in this battle, we get a lot of revelations as to why the abuse happens, and it literally comes down to just sheer jealousy. Like, people let jealousy and grief cloud their judgment. This is why we shouldn't do this in the real world. It's like literally, the Solid, Deborah, I should say, was jealous of Noelle for not just looking like her mother, but having her mother's power. And Solid feared Noelle's power and his place as the superior big brother, so much so that he had to abuse her so that he could make her mentally nerf herself, so that she would stay weaker than him all the time. Because it's revealed in the end, after we get the big team up from the siblings, that Noelle is stronger than we all thought she was. She's had this great power in her all the time. She just hasn't been able to control it, which we all knew. But it's like, yeah, she was already, when she walked in the door of the Black Bulls, she was Wizard Queen level. She was on, Wizard Queen time. She ain't just got there, she's been there, and it's just been a struggle for control and to gain the confidence, which again we don't see with Hinata illustrated, because Hinata doesn't get those dubs. We see her grow as a woman, yes, but we don't see her grow in the sense of getting those dubs. She has the emotional connection, but not the shonen feet connection, which is what I said in my first two videos on the subject. I'll make a whole video on this topic at some point soon. I'm trying to kind of work on my own personal project, my own little light novel, that I'm going to probably put an audio book up for using AI at some point. So I hope y'all check that out. But back to Black Clover. Um, we even get Noelle, once again coming to his siblings aid. And my personal opinion on Noelle when it comes to the family issues, I watched Naruto explain, or Kryptonian saying, when he first introduced the question about Arcia, when Arcia first showed up as a paladin, he said, like, should the siblings pay for what they did to Noelle by having to fight their mother? And at first I said, well, it depends on how you feel about the Leaf Village, because should you really pay for hating on somebody when you just really don't know all the details? And I was looking at it from that standpoint, and then I went and watched the anime again, and I was like, yeah, they kind of have to pay, because while Noelle knew the truth and couldn't tell nobody, he didn't have to allow the abuse. He really didn't have to allow the abuse. He could have stuck up for his sister and said, like, yeah, she might be weak, but she's still a Silver, and we should still take care of our own. We still take care of our own, and look out for our own, weak as they may be. He could have done something like that without having to tell them about Magugula and everything. So yeah, they have to kind of go through this, and he does, and shockingly, he actually can suffer mercury poison. And I mean, personally, a lot of people like that. I kind of don't, because we're dealing with magic, and the magic should kind of negate that. I get people want stakes, but in a world of magic, mercury poison shouldn't be a thing. It kind of is like, really? We get mercury poison from using mercury? It's like, okay, put stakes in there if you want to. But I personally don't like it. Now, as for what I said in the intro about things being resolved, well, Noelle uses all of her siblings' power and her fully released power to hit Arcia with a, big blast attack. And Arcia goes out and says, it took you all long enough, but now you all can be a family, and as a mother, I'm satisfied. And that resolves everything. Problem is, Arcia is a paladin. So while Arcia may be satisfied, we're about to see the cruelty of Lucius go up tenfold, because this woman's going to regenerate and still be forced to fight her family, and they're going to be in a vulnerable position because they're not going to have any way to fight him back, and they're all going to be turned into paladins unless Arcia pulls a Hanzo the Salamander and refuses Lucius's will, which Sister Lily has already told us is impossible. No, the soul editing part of the paladinization process imprints Lucius's will onto your body, into your mind. So even like with Sister Lily, if you don't want to do something, you're still going to do it because you're Lucius's pawn. And your brain's just going to do mental gymnastics to justify it. Because that's how messed up soul editing really is. So it doesn't matter how great this ending is. I'm telling you now, she's going to get resurrected. And it's most likely going to take Vanessa and the other Black Bulls coming in with anti-magic that Asta gave them to put Arcia to rest. Unless she can pull a Hanzo and resist Lucius and go back to the underworld, go back to the afterlife. But overall, this is a solid chapter. Again, I'll get into that, Hinata and Noelle comparison at some point, so look out for that video. If you like anything you heard, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.